Okay, so I'm going to go through 3 examples, okay? And I want you guys all to have your graphing calculators out, and also have it set on degree mode. Okay, the way you get it on degree mode is you press. I think there actually should be a button called mode, but let me pull up my calculator. Hang on. Okay, so on the top, near the top middle, there should be a button called mode. And on the 3rd row, there is a line. There is a 2 words called radian and degree. And make sure you set it to degree. So highlight degree, press enter. And then you can press second mode to quit. Okay, so to recap, press mode, go to the 3rd row where it says radian and degree, highlight degree. Okay, highlight degree, and highlight degree, and then press second mode to quit. Okay. Now, so sine is going to be, so I'm just, right now, I'm focused on these right here. Sine is opposite over hypotenuse, cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse, tangent is opposite over adjacent. And the way you remember it, the classic way, the tried and true method is SOHCAHTOA. Okay? All right? And the O means opposite, H means hypotenuse, A means adjacent, H means hypotenuse, so on and so forth. Okay? And then cosecant is basically going to be, okay? Cosecant is basically going to be the reciprocal of sine. Okay, let me change some red, green, blue. If you look right here, cosecant is basically the reciprocal of sine. Okay, hypotenuse over opposite, this is opposite over hypotenuse. Okay, same goes for secant. Secant is related to, is the reciprocal of cosine. And cotangent is the reciprocal of tangent. Now, one thing that's kind of tricky is that if you look at the words sine and cosecant, okay, sine and cosecant, you would think that sine is going to be related to secant because both start with an S. Along the same lines, you would think that cosecant is going to be related to cosine because they both start with a C. However, it is not the case. It is, in this case, it is the opposite. Our opposite hats apply. Your sine is related to cosecant, and your cosine is related to secant. Okay, I wish if I were to be able to rewrite the words of trig, I would make it so that sine relates to secant. Okay, and cosine relates to cosecant, but that's not the case. So that's just something to keep in mind. Okay, now let's pretend that you have a. Let me pull up. Let me pull this guy up right here. Okay, now let's say you got this stick figure right here. Okay, let me dye him. Nope, orange is just too. Okay, doesn't matter. Let's say we have this stick figure chilling here at angle Y. Okay. Now, what is hypotenuse? What is adjacent? What is opposite? Hypotenuse is always going to be the side that is across from the 90 degrees, always. It's always going to be the side that's across from 90 degrees. Okay? Adjacent is the side that is right next to. Adjacent by definition means right next to. So adjacent is going to be the side that's right next to the stick figure, which is 12. Okay, so this is going to be adjacent. Okay? It's literally right next to the stick figure. Okay. 13 is also right next to, but 13 is already called the hypotenuse. Okay. 5 is going to be opposite because it's literally the farthest away from the stick figure, or across or opposite, however you want to think about it. I like to just think about it as it is farthest away from this stick figure. Okay. Now, what happens if we put the stick figure right here? Okay, what if we put the stick figure right here at X? Okay, what's adjacent? What is hypotenuse? What is opposite? Hypotenuse stays the same. Hypotenuse is always fixed because remember, it's across from the 90-degree angle. Okay, and now in this case, adjacent is going to be, adjacent is going to be 5, and opposite is going to be 12. Okay, because adjacent is right next to the stick figure. 5 is right next to the stick figure. Okay, and 12 is across. Okay, so that's that. Okay, now let's apply this. Okay, let's apply this. Let's say we have the stick figure at 41 degrees. Okay, AB is going to be right here. Let's start with that. So let's say we're trying to find AB. AB in this case is going to be hypotenuse. Okay, AB is going to be hypotenuse. All right, and 7.4 is going to be called adjacent because it's right next to the stick figure. So now, okay, now we have, now we have, let me pull that up again. Now we're using adjacent and hypotenuse. Okay, we have adjacent and hypotenuse, so we're going to be using cosine. So as of right now, I have cosine of 41 degrees is going to equal to adjacent over hypotenuse, which is 7.4, over hypotenuse, or AB. Okay? All right. Now we just cross multiply and solve. I'm going to go over 1. I'm going to cross multiply, and I'm going to have cosine of 41 times AB equals to 7.4 times 1. Okay? And then I'm going to divide by cosine of 41 on both sides. Okay? And I'm literally going to plug this into, I'm going to just plug this into my calculator. Okay? So 7.4 times 1, which is 7.4, divided by cosine of 41, and I get 9.8. Okay? AB equals to 9.81. Okay. All right. Now, we're going to try to find BC now. Okay, we're going to find BC. Now, BC is called opposite. Okay, it's called opposite. All right. Now we have a situation where we are trying to find we're given opposite and adjacent. Okay, so if we're given opposite and adjacent, okay, we got these two blues. Okay, so we're going to be using tangent. Okay, so I'm going to go tangent of 41 is equal to BC over 7.4. Okay, and again, over 1, cross multiply, and you get tangent of 41 times 7.4 equals to BC. Plug that into your calculator. In this case, this is pretty straightforward. There ain't no dividing going on. Tangent of 41 times 7.4, and you get 6.43 for BC. Okay, so BC, 6.43. Okay, so our green, that's BC, and our pink, that's AB. Now, here's an alternative method. Okay, here's an alternative method here. You could have done, okay, you could have done for BC, I'm going to call this alternate method. Okay, actually, you know what? I don't want to make this video too long. I'm just going to keep it at that. Okay? Now, let's look right here. Okay? Let's look right here, and let's do number 4 right here. All right, let's go ahead and copy. I think this is the last example here. Okay, this video is not going to be as long as I thought it was going to be, which is perfect. Now, let's say we're trying to find RS. Okay, this is the last example. We want to find RS. Okay, RS is called hypotenuse. Okay. Now, oh, whoops, sorry. It's starting with angle R. Okay, it's starting with angle R. Okay, right over here. Okay, 3.8 is called opposite. It's opposite from that pink angle or stick figure. Okay, 6.8 is called adjacent to that stick figure. Okay, so if you see opposite and adjacent, you're going to be using tangent. Okay, so tangent of R is going to equal to 3.8 over 6.8. Okay. Now, how do you get R by itself in this case? Okay. You're going to be pay close attention to this. This is going to be inverse tangent to get rid of tangent. Inverse tangent. Okay. So now you literally just plug this into your, okay, you plug this green into your graphing calculator. Okay, you just press literally second tangent of 3.8, and you get 29.20. So R is 29.20. Okay? So 29.20 is R. Now, if this is 29.20, here's actually the alternate way I was going to teach you earlier. If this is 29.20 and this is 90, you can use, if you want, you can use trig to find. You can totally use trig to find this green highlight right over here. S, you can use trig the same exact way. However, there's an easier way of doing it. You can just know that the angles of a triangle add up to 180. Okay. All right. So for angle S, here, let me just write it. Yep. Angle S plus 29.20 plus 90 equals to 180, and solve backwards for angle S. $60.8. Okay, and that's how you can find angle S. All right, now for and that's angle S. Let me dip that in some green right here. Okay. Now for last one for RS. Okay, for RS, which is this segment right here, you can use trig. Okay, you can use trig again, but you can also use Pythagorean theorem. Okay, 6.8 squared plus 3.8 squared equals to RS squared. Okay, and just solve backwards for RS. Okay, you can use Pythagorean theorem. Okay. Or you can use trig, just like we did. If you were to use trig, okay, you can actually, for this one, use cosine. You can do for RS, you can do something like this for trig. Okay, you can do a couple things. And this is the last thing before I wrap it up. You can do cosine of 29.20 equals to 6.8 over RS. Okay, let me dip that in blue. Or you can do sine of 29.20 equals to 3.8 over RS. And then just cross multiply. Okay, so either of these three work. Some people, I find that most people actually like using the trig more than the Pythagorean theorem. Okay. All right. So that's that. Okay. I want you guys right now to go ahead